they're going forwards to do it, meaning they're stepping on and then they're stepping onto their rear feet. So essentially, they're learning um, that the location of their rear feet are going to be placed where their front feet just were, because that helps them kind of gauge the ability to stop. Because over time for them, once it turns into a board, if they're running to the end and stopping, they understand how to prepare themselves to stop with their rear feet still on it. So it's all about just back end awareness. All dogs are terrible at it until it's a skill that's been worked on enough. And then once you teach them the body awareness of their back end, then they're super from that point on. So second skill for them, I gotta get my little mat.
Look at that spider web.
Which ones? A whole bunch of
Oh
them.
wow, they're beautiful.
Spiders are beautiful.
As long as they're not in your house.
Yeah, or on you.
Yes, right. Outside, away.
I sound like a girl if there's on me.
No, yep. Especially if it's big and has hair on it. That's the sure
So
sign.
I'm gonna bring this out there for a second. So, it can- so it doesn't matter what you use for this next skill. However, yoga mats work super for this, and the ones that you can get at like Five Below for $5 are the ones that you want to do. You don't want to get on Amazon and buy one for $30
mat. No.
because it comes obviously longer than this is half of one. And I cut it in half because this mat is the same length as the yellow on the A-frame. So when they're cut in half, your dog is learning the exact size of the target that it must learn to hit. So with A-frame training, obviously, the dog has to touch the yellow on the downside one way or another in order to qualify. And we have two choices to teach them to do that. One is to do the 2 on 2 off behavior, which we're starting with the bucket, which I prefer for the dog walk and or the teeter, because it really makes sure that the dog finishes the teeter and finishes the dog walk as straight as possible. For the A-frame, I leave it up to people to decide. I'm not a super huge fan of 2 on 2 off on the A-frame long term. For dogs who are going to be doing a tremendous amount of trialing without access to practicing on one, meaning that the dog learns the body awareness to come downhill properly and stop with their feet, not jump into the position and slam their shoulders, because over time the impact of that is crazy. So yoga mat is used to teach what eventually would be a moving or a running contact, where they don't stop. And
So you could have a running contact for the A-frame, but a stop contact
stop
for
on the others if you would like
Okay.
to. Yep. And they would be two separate words, so that the dog knew which one you want. There are some people who train both skills on everything first, and then they kind of decide within their dog structure, their ability as a trainer, and the dog's temperament, which is working best. So you're not operating off of the hope and prayer method of touching.
Oh, I like that one.
This also works for dogs who are going to be doing Schulten work and going up and over the wall to retrieve the dumbbell. Not to think that it's cool to launch from the peak of the A-frame through the air onto the dumbbell and then through the air back onto you. It gives them a location or a touchpad to be able to work. And how this works for them at the first time is we actually teach them to do what looks like a fly ball turn. And what I mean by that is that we lure them on with their front feet, and as soon as the first rear foot touches, we turn around and throw the other way. So if I was doing this with food, I would lure them on, turn them around, toss the food. And they're essentially learning to do kind of just a touch and spin. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. The reason for that is that we want to teach them that it's front foot, then rear foot, and it's really the rear foot that we're looking to mark. So if I was using a clicker on this, I would be clicking as soon as the rear paw touched, but after a front paw touch. So it doesn't work if they leap over the thing and just touch with the rear. So we're looking to teach them to reach for the mat with a front foot and then place a rear foot with purpose. And that's what would be told yes, and that's what would be clicked. So usually the first couple of sessions people do this, they leave the clicker out because they just stink at it until they start to develop the behavior, and then you can really start to work on it. After about a week's worth of work, we'll change it and they'll start running across it, but they will do the same thing. They will reach with their front, and then that next rear will come through, and that's going to be the timing. It's always to get credit, front foot, rear foot, in order to get paid. Even though I know the regulations say any part of one paw must touch, you want to train more of that. So I'm going to move this. And then I'm going to borrow the Schnauzer and some treats because I know she needs a little bit of like working with us. Hang on, I got to get a couple of these.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Oh boy. She's ready.
Steve.
So I'm putting her this way so that you guys can see her so that my body's not in the way. So I'm going to slow her down for a second and I'm going to lure her on. Yes. And as soon as her rear foot touches, I'm just going to tell her yes and throw behind her. Yes. Right here, Monkey. Use your sniffer. Good. Ready? Ready? Yes. Super. She's not catching my throws yet because predictably she doesn't understand that's where the cookies are going yet. But she will. Ready? Yes. There you go. Good. Ready? Yes. Good dog. Super. Good, you're done. So, I know that was very exciting. So, 5, 6 times back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, whichever direction they're going on. Now, I would repeat this same thing by having her start over here, touching front feet, rear feet, and throwing back that way. So, you could come in with her and I'll have you do